Carolyn, first, it is so good to see you. I know a little while ago we spoke on the phone. And I think we did a phone interview beforehand, but we haven't seen each other in such a long time. And I swear you do not age. What are you, part vampire or what?
Well, first of all, you know how to get to a woman's heart, but thank you. I'm trying to take the compliment very well. Thank you very much. I don't know. I'm just I feel good about life right now, and I think sometimes that shows on somebody's face, So maybe there's something to that. But thank you very, very much. It's been too long since we've talked.
Way too long. I don't know if you even know this or not, but you are probably one of my first big interviews when I was with 680 News. And it's funny, I was doing it, somebody was interviewing me yesterday. And one of the things I talked about was when I was trying to establish myself as a music reporter, um, a lot of people wouldn't give me interviews. Canadian country music were the ones that opened up their doors and said, come on in, interview us, no worries. And that's why I say you were one of my first big interviews. I will never forget it. I still have photos.
Aw,
And I'm going to, as we do this interview, I'm going to try to pop those up.
I
But
love
you were
that.
just so amazing, and your career has been amazing. You've been a mentor to many of the young artists who are out today. A great example of what hard work is all about. I mean, what was always your drive from day one to today?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I just really love to make music. I mean, that sounds silly to say that because I guess that's what everybody does, but when I am creating with someone else, when I'm doing my own thing, whatever it is, it's just like my heart opens up and I feel like I'm being the best version of myself. So I think without me really knowing that when I was younger, oh my goodness, my thing is clicking.
That always, you know what? That always happens when doing interviews. It's like, oh, this is not the time to call.
I know I did not put my do not disturb on, and I apologize for that.
Don't worry about
Um,
it. Please continue. Continue.
okay, so when I was younger, obviously music made me happy, and um, I loved it. It was, it's in the tips of my fingers, it's in the tips of my toes. It always really has been. So eventually when I decided to go for it as a career, because I did kind of the logical stuff first. So I don't know if you remember my story, but I went to college because I had good grades and I was like in sciences and stuff. And then I was like, I just don't know if this is what I want to do. I can't figure out really what I want to do. And everything was like hitting me on the head. And all my friends and family was like, what? You're not doing music? So I think I had to kind of go through that discovery process. Now, once I actually got to do it like for a living, where I got paid to write songs and everything, I it was like dreamland. And we're in a business that the majority of the time you're hearing no.
Yeah.
So what in the world? You must have to love it a lot in order to keep doing it, and I really think that that's what it comes down to. So when I'm singing with someone else, when I'm doing my own thing, when I'm playing on people's records, when I'm out on the road, or collaborating songwriting, like there's a lot of facets to the way this music works. I've even gone in on other people's photo shoots and helped with things, and I just do it for free because I love being part of that creative process. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's my driving force. When I don't do things for a while, it's almost like I turn into this raisin and I get like, "Arr." And so when I start doing the things that really feel like they're part of my life and purpose and I say dream feels, dream is real,
Yeah.
but it feels like this, oh, it's my dream. It's like, this is my career. But when I'm doing the things that really make the cells in my body vibrate high, that's when I know I'm in the right place.
The right place. Perfect example to use because when you got into this business, there was this resurgence of Canadian country taking over the world. When you think of yourself, Paul, Brett, Michelle, Michelle, right? Terry Clark. Like there were so many of these artists bursting upon the scene, and it was really putting Canada on the map where Nashville was going, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on up there? I thought all they had was Anne Murray and Gordon Lightfoot kind of thing, like what is going on in Canada? What was that like when the bubble finally burst for Canadian country artists and literally taking, I can't say this, taking over the world, and I can say it because I documented all of this.
Well, um, we were all supporting each other. We're all friends. You become friends in this big but small community. And I think that Nashville just basically went, you know what? We need to pay attention to some of this, because Nashville is a very wonderful town in that it has a way of doing things,
Yeah.
and it has a certain sound to it. And that sound morphs and changes over time, as any music genre does. And I think Canadians just bring, I really do think that we bring something that you can't necessarily put your finger on. It's got to be because we have that kind of water or something up there, but there's something that we bring to the table. And so when we get a shot to experience that in the creative environment of Nashville, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best creative environment, then I think you can do some really wonderful things. So I'm happy that I got to be part of some of that. There was obviously people that came before me, and there's certainly a lot of amazing artists that have come after. Now we've just got this wonderful crop, especially of females. I mean, we have males too, but the females are really, doing some killer stuff down here. So proud of them. And yeah, I'm happy to be in that line of what I hope we've been creating some history.
Another great word, history, because talk about one of the most complicated history situations to ever have. Can we talk about that again? Because I think it's one of those, it's a stamp in Canadian music history. The
Thank you.
word complicated being recorded and released around the same time by two superstars, both from Canada. Talk a little bit about that, please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was crazy. So, my song Complicated came out. It did very well. And then we were talking about crossing over into possibly the pop and AC market. And I just remember my record company saying, we need to get a pop mix. There's another girl coming out of New York. She's from Canada too. She's on Arista. She's coming out with a complicated song. If we want to cross this song over, we need to get out there sooner than later. Then Avril came out with hers, and she was obviously on the pop charts, and she had her version of what Complicated was, which was such a big smash, and she raced up the charts. We didn't get that spot over there, which we just weren't in time once her stuff was out, but we had great success at Canadian radio. Not Canadian, it was all over the place. Yeah. It was here in the US too, and we did cross over some, but it was kind of crazy to think that there was two girls on the same label, both from Canada, both the same title of the song. It was, you can't plan those things, you can't predict them. That just means that something was floating in the air. I have written songs before where I thought I was the only one in the world that could possibly have that idea. And literally like 3 weeks later or something, it debuts on the chart, and I'm like, how in the world? I thought I was the only one. But I think ideas and energies can float in the air. I know that sounds like a little voodoo-y, but I really actually do think that can happen. So it was just a fun time.
Did you ever run into her, and did you two ever speak about it? Never?
Never. No,
that's amazing.
I've never met Avril. I know some people that work with her or have worked with her and stuff like that too in the past too. So, but we've never actually crossed paths. So I'm sure we will one day.
Oh God, yeah. Because I'm always surprised that, especially now, with people now showing respect for songs like both of them. today. I'm surprised nobody has ever either done a remix with both songs or even asked the both of you to come together and sort of sing your parts to make a new, complicated 2024 kind of thing.
Rudy, what a great idea. I'm surprised too. That's a great idea, though.
Okay, we put it out there. We put it out there. I love that. Um, as the business has moved on and we've gotten, like, we went through Napster, we're going through now social media, we've got all of these new platforms and things like that, new artists, new stars, new sounds, new things like that. You've always kept going. What was it like for you to go through those waves with that surfboard and still be able to hit shore whenever you were ready for that?
Oh, wonderful. I'm right now, as I'm releasing this new music, we are in a different time than the last time I released music. So, I think you just have to morph with the times and the changing, and you don't know how you're going to land necessarily, but you're creating anyway. You do it because you love it. And then you hope to have some people around you that can help you navigate the system. But really, it's just about how do we reach people today? It's like, radio was the biggest thing when I first came out, and it would be like print and TV, and now that's morphed and changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those things are all still kind of there, but we have such another world of everything else. So it's learning about what is working and then also trying to create your own path in there, because it takes a whole bunch of us to like change things. And if you're part of that, maybe you're on the forefront of it or maybe you're on the back end, like it's always going to keep moving around. So what's it like for me now? I'm learning new things. I'm learning new
Same here.
ways to present my music to people.
I mean, just you and I doing this is a new thing, I
The new
mean,
thing.
it's the new thing. So let's get to the real new thing, new single. What is the new single called and how is it representing you in this point in your career? And what's the song about?
Awesome. Well, my new song is called Roadblocks. And, I have an album of like 12 songs that is getting ready to come out in the new year. I don't have a date on that yet, but that's when it's slated to come out. And this is the first single because this song is all about like getting through roadblocks. And while it's got all of the like words of that, us as songwriters, we get to like play with words and roadblocks. It's like, oh, the driving and spikes in the road and things that like make you detour and all this kind of road language, but really it's a much deeper song than that because it's about like personal. It might be different for someone else, but whether it's emotional or physical or mental roadblocks and trying to get through them. And so it's a rockin' song. You don't have to think when you listen to it. You can just enjoy the fact that it rocks and crank it loud and turn your windows, roll them down or electric, roll them down. And it's just a feel good song. But if you have something, I've had some people listen to it and get like emotional. And this is a rockin' song. And I'm like, they've got some roadblocks in their life right now. So it's an inspiring song. It's an anthem like sort of song that when we wrote it, I don't think we necessarily thought of it like an anthem. We just really wanted to do all the colorful language in the driving situation, but yet portray what it can actually feel like when you have roadblocks in your life and trying to conquer them and get through them. So hopefully this will inspire people.
You said it's a sort of like it's a rocking song. I actually kept thinking it was sort of like a rockabilly type of song, which I don't think I've ever heard you do. Why did you take this approach in this sound for such a meaningful lyrical song?
Well, I love that you even recognize that. When we wrote it, I was just playing guitar, and it actually kind of sounds almost a little bluegrass when I'm playing it just me
Yeah.
and my guitar. And then one of my co-writers, Oscar, he's like this hip guy. He's just always trying different things, and he did this really basic demo, this drum loop with this cool little guitar part, which I ended up putting onto the record and translating and making a little bit bigger and fatter and all this stuff. So it had this really quirky sort of rockabilly kind of vibe.
Mhm.
So then when I went into the studio, we tried a few different drum kinds of takes, like to find the right feel. And this one ended up being the winner. I wanted that guitar hook in there. And as I was singing along, this felt so good when I was singing. And I can always tell as a singer, if I'm singing when it's going down, if it makes me want to sing,
Mhm.
then I know I'm feeling right. So this is
Yeah.
where we ended up landing with it. And, at the end of the song, there's some wailing on there. That actually is from the tracking vocal from when it happened, because when we did that pass at the very end, I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I did that. I have a little video clip of it that I'm going to post at some point. But I was so into it at the time it was happening that came out. And then, of course, when I go to make the record, that particular point, I tried to beat it and I didn't, because there was an energy and a vibe and a flow that was happening at that moment in time. And even though I can sing it accurately and still pull it off live and everything, that particular moment, there was something really special about it. So I kept it on the record.
I love it. Absolutely love it. What's the album going to sound like? Something like that, or?
Well, I would say that's probably the only like rockabilly thing. There's some intimate things on there that are really beautiful. And then I have some pretty hard rockin' things on there as well. And there's some
Cool.
story songs. So it's a vast array of different kinds of songs. I can't wait till you hear it. I will say that when I went in and made this one, because when I went to make this record, I was really like, you know what? I've been waiting a long time to make new music, and I've had a lot of roadblocks in my life, and it is time for me to just make it. So the songs I chose all meant something to me. Some of them I'd hung on to for quite a long time that I've been wanting to record. And when I went in there, I said to the guys, "Look, I'm really an independent artist at this point of time. I only have to make me happy and my fans. And I think my fans are going to want the authentic me coming through on this. So we can color these songs however we want. When it starts feeling like I want to cry or I'm singing like I did on Roblox, then I know we've hit the right vibe of what needs to happen, and then I'll keep working on it after that. So we just, I wouldn't say that any one song sounds like the next, but the common thread is my songwriting, obviously, and my voice. And I think my voice still sounds the way it did 20 years ago. If anything, I might be a little bit of a better singer just because I've done it for so long. But so that's going to be the thread, is the storytelling and my voice.
Tour 2024, maybe?
2024 for sure.
Fantastic. Cool. Look, as we're wrapping this up, and as we speak, Halloween is slowly sneaking up. I'm just curious, what was your favorite Halloween costume growing up?
My favorite Halloween costume ended up being a costume that my mom got made for me for a play that I was in. And it was a Muppet Show play, and I was Fozzie Bear. And it was made out of car seat covers, the whole bodysuit. It was like a big onesie Fozzie Bear thing. And I wore that for many years until I could not fit it anymore. So it was my favorite costume.
I love it. And as we speak, we're literally like 2 months away from the holiday season. Are you already making plans?
Um, well, yes and no. I mean, I still have a couple wreaths up from last year that I love. And it's so funny because one of my friends was like, is that like a seasonal wreath? Did you just put that up, or has that been up since last year?" And I said, my friend made these wreaths, and out of the real pine stuff. And I didn't have the heart to take them down. They're so beautiful. So they're still up. And I am planning on having some kind of wonderful dinner with a bunch of friends and my kids, and trying to figure out what that's going to be. But I will definitely be decorating the house and decorating outside. And I don't know if I'm going to be going anywhere this year because my daughter has some driver training she has to take. She's old enough
Uh,
to be going to driver training, and it's going to be during the holiday. And I'll probably take the kids skiing, but that's the extent of my plans right now.
I love it. I absolutely look right off the top. I always had big love and respect for you. You've known that for years.
Same.
I have had such a wonderful career in reporting, and one of the big reasons for that is interviewing you. And
Aw.
because you helped make me feel very comfortable in speaking with you, and that helped translate into my other interviews. So I will always be internally grateful to you for opening up your life to me in these interviews, giving us such great music, and more importantly, continuing to give us great music.
Well,
Congratulations on this new single. Can't wait for the album to come out, and cannot wait to see you on stage again, because nobody knows how to tear it up like you do.
aw.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Rudy. Well, I always love talking to you, and it's good to actually see your face. I think some of these changes in our system have actually been kind of positive.